Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gaming with me, Tony Mo, and welcome to what I'm going to start calling Free-to-Play Wednesday. On Free-to-Play Wednesday, we're going to sit down and actually take a look at a new free-to-play title every single week until I basically run out of awesome free-to-plays to check out. The idea of free-to-play has completely evolved over the last, I guess you could say, 5 years now. It's come a long, long way from all those crazy Korean and Chinese pay-to-win, cash cow MMOs that we were seeing for the longest amount of time, especially ones coming from Perfect World Entertainment, and how even they have straightened up their game, well, just a little bit anyways. But apart from that, we've seen tons of really great titles. For example, the War Thunder franchise, World of Tanks, Team Fortress has even gone free-to-play at this point. There's just been so many really great free-to-play games that you can play for absolutely no cost from you. Even when you start talking about, can I be competitive? Yes! There are games that actually allow you to be competitive without spending any money. Hawken comes to mind. But today we're going to take a look at one that I think is very relevant with the recent release of Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls. Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls is a $50 expansion to what is a $60 game. And let's be honest, Diablo 3 didn't exactly deliver on what many of us thought would have been a much, much more fantastic game, considering just how special Diablo 2 actually was. Instead, at the end of the day, we got a game that was sort of fun, but really had been tainted by Blizzard's recent attempt to open its games up to a much wider audience, which to me just meant making their games way too easy for everyone. It doesn't matter what skill level you're at. Diablo 3 was a much, much too easy experience, especially when you consider it's a game that has multiple difficulty levels. There's no reason to nerf the harder difficulty levels. That is the point of calling a nightmare mode nightmare. It's supposed to be really, really hard. Moving on from that, though, we're going to be taking a look at another ARPG called Path of Exile. Path of Exile is what most people probably wanted Diablo 3 to be, and then some. It started off a very long time ago as a really small title, worked on by a very small indie team, and has grown massively since then with tons of new features that I was completely unaware of until recently. So let's go ahead and we're actually going to pick a character, and I'm going to showcase, we're going to pick a brand new character so I can showcase some of the cool alternate ways you can actually play Path of Exile. So let's see here. I actually have a witch already, so we'll be able to hop to her later to check her out. I want to pick somebody I haven't quite tried yet.
Was I supposed to bear such insults with an action?
The characters themselves are actually very interesting. They are voiced, they will say things, they have really good personality, and just from this intro here you can tell that the game is very dark and very, very gritty. Let's go with the Marauder. So now if we go to our league here, this is one of the really cool selections inside of Path of Exile. In a game like Diablo 3, you usually have Hardcore and Standard. Instead, in this, you can actually play Standard and Hardcore. You have Ambush and Invasion League. So let's go ahead and read what each of these are. Ambush. Monsters lie in wait around enchanted strongboxes. When Ambush ends, its character will become Standard character. So basically, you can continue to play an Ambush as long as you stay alive. The first time you die, you'll be kicked back to Standard League. This is also the same for Invasion. Areas containing invading monsters and bosses from elsewhere in Raid Class. The Raid Class is the world of Path of Exile. When Invasion ends, its characters will become Hardcore characters. So once you get kicked out of Invasion, you then become a Hardcore character. And then once you're a character killed in... Hold on a second. When the Invasion ends, you become a Hardcore character. When you're killed, you will actually become a Standard character.
Now, I have been taken from my people, chained and exiled by cowards.
So Ambush actually continues. You don't actually die in it. I read that completely wrong. Anyways, this is a prime example. You have multiple ways to play Path of Exile right from the get-go. And to be honest, you're also encouraged because when you lose in these modes in Invasion, you're just going to be kicked back to Standard anyway. So why not start an Invasion, have that opportunity to fight more difficult creatures and get better loot, and then head back on down. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit Invasion. We're going to hit OK. And let's come up with a name for our beastly Marauder here. It's gonna be a difficult one, if I'm honest. I'm always terrible at naming names. If we just call him Arnold. Can we do that? Arnold? No. Alright, let's call him the Smasherer. Smasherer. I guarantee you that's actually already taken. Yep, like I said. The Smasherer of all evil. Of evil. The Smasherer of evil. Ah, it's not taken. Alright, let's get into Path of Exile. Now, right off the beginning, the game just pretty much throws you onto the shore. Obviously, we were on that boat and we're washed up on the shore. There's a dying exile here. Let's talk to him.
We're all that made it. They dumped 2 different...
Oh, it's something. Just eat it. Let's kill it. Oh, let's kill it. Alright, so now we picked up one of our first abilities. The way abilities works in Path of Exile is very interesting. You actually have gems that you then socket into weapons. So this is a red gem. It's actually called Heavy Strike. It gives us the ability to attack the enemy with a forceful blow, knocking them back. Requires a mace, axe, sword, or two-handed weapon. So we're going to go ahead and click on this. I'm going to slot it into our red slot on our Driftwood Club there. You'll now see that the ability has now become available to our right mouse click. We can keybind all of these abilities on the fly simply by clicking on them. It'll give us the opportunity to put whatever we want in any of these slots. So we have right click, middle click, left click, as well as Q, W, E, R, T, Quart, however you want to say it. Anyways, let's continue onward. Let's go smash some stuff and make our way to the first sort of main campfire area. Oh, and I've accidentally removed my key binding for Heavy Strike. Let's get that back up. So the game initially isn't incredibly difficult if you play it on Standard League. However, playing on Invasion does actually make it much, much more difficult. You will run into some extremely hardcore bosses. And while you can definitely go ahead and play this game on your own, I see it as a game that is more enjoyable when you play with friends. I mean, it's cooperative RPG, you know? You can play with friends, you can group up together. Oh, let's get that plate vest and that iron hat. Character will automatically equip those. It's better than nothing to start. Obviously, I mean, the fun for these games is always in joining up with a group of friends, having all the different classes, and working together to eliminate some super hardcore bosses. The game does scale a tad to multiple players. It will actually add more enemies to kind of compensate for the fact that you might have 4 people in a group. Invasion can get brutally difficult really fast, and I think that's why it's fun to play it at least a couple times. You know, it's not... I don't think I could do repeated characters over and over and over in Invasion. Usually, the way we were doing it, we had a group of friends playing. We played Invasion twice. Second time through, we decided, alright, you know, let's just stick with Standard for now. But hey, some people might enjoy just doing Invasion over and over, trying to see how far they could actually make it in the game with that, with the amount of difficulty. I mean, some of the bosses that it will spawn in some of the areas, you really, really need to be careful with. I mean, seriously heavy damage bosses with some really cool trap abilities. The game is no pushover, let's just put it that way. It's also why you notice it doesn't actually have like a... Hold on a second. Just make our way over here and get past these guys, because we're gonna have our first little mini boss to fight before we can make it into I believe it's the Lion's Eye over here. I'll take out some of these guys before they come up behind us. Good. We've leveled up. That means once we clear out this area, I can show you guys a little bit of the skills tree system, which is probably the most complex and also unique system you will see in any game of this type. It completely blows Diablo 3 out of the water. Sorry if it sounds like I'm bashing Diablo 3, but Diablo 3 just doesn't have anything on this game, in my opinion. This game absolutely stomps Diablo 3 to death. And it's free to play. Did I mention that? You literally do not have to spend any money. There is nothing in this game that allows you to purchase anything to increase the progress of your character. All transactions in this game, microtransactions, are cosmetic items to increase the appearance of your character, to make him look cooler, I guess you could say. Let's grab, let's see what we have here. Nothing really good, but we could use those shoes since we're not wearing them anyways. And it's all crap. Let's just get out of here. Oh, you will notice though that our Heavy Strike ability is now available to level up. So as you use abilities, or at least as long as they're socketed on your inventory and you're fighting, you'll actually level them up, making them more powerful and more useful as time goes on. Again, another really small touch. This game is full of extremely small touches that just, you know, are obvious that the team has spent a lot of time working with them. The other cool thing is, when you come to these main cities, you can see a lot of other active players in your instance. So it's not like, you know, you're just in your own little world, but you're supposedly online. You're actually online, and there are other people here. You can check out their gear, you can see what level they are. There's some ridiculously high level cap. I forgot what my friend had told me when we were playing this. He spent a lot of time with this game, and it was one of the reasons I got back into it, because he had said he spent so much time with it. I said, oh, you know, it'd be great to play with someone who knows the ropes, and just great to play with someone in general. The last time I had tried this game, I think, was way back in beta, and I'd played alone, and while it was a lot of fun, there's nothing quite like playing with your friends. So let's go ahead and grab a reward from this quest giver here. So you have the choice of Ground Slam, Cleave, or Dual Strike. Dual Strike would be if we were going to attack with both weapons. I think we might actually grab that, and we will attempt to get our hands on a secondary weapon for that. But let's go ahead and sell some of these items we're not using. Let's get rid of this iron hat. Sell that. And let's take a look at the skill tree while we're here. Now, initially, I'm starting off as the Marauder. So if we look at this massive, ridiculous web of a skill tree, but I know it looks a lot more intimidating than it is. I promise you it's actually not that bad, and there are tons of websites that allow you to do builds for the game. I'll actually link one of them in the description below in case you guys are interested in actually checking this game out. You can basically look at other people's builds and pick something that interests you just for your first character, or you can do like I've done and pretty much just say, hey, it's my first character. It's probably going to be a mess anyways. Not really concerned. Let's just have a good time with the game. So here is the initial Marauder start. Now right off the bat, we have a couple different bonuses we can choose from. We can do a melee damage increase, 15% increase in melee physical damage, or we can do life and armor. So essentially we can decide if we want to have a tanky character, or a more damage dealing character, or a little bit of both. And as we go down these trees, we'll see we'll get more bonuses, and then we have these sort of really high level skills, passive skills that we'll pick up, like Born to Fight, Aegis, versatility, as well as Warrior's Blood. We're going to go ahead and go down the damage route and see if we can't do like a two-handed, or a one-handed, a dual-wielding high damage build for this Marauder. So let's go ahead and actually just press complete. Let's head out onto the coast and do some more damage here. Let's double check our map for a second.
This land is wounded.
Let's go this way. So as I was saying, when it comes to the small details inside of this game, apart from the... Oh, there we go. That's Invasion for you. Those characters are from a place that I've never experienced because I haven't gotten to that level. Oh man, is that a unique? I think there's a unique hiding somewhere. Yep, there he is. So that guy will actually regenerate these other enemies while he's nearby, so there's a good chance we'll actually die right here, to be honest. This is going to be pretty difficult to deal with this, so let's see what we can do here. It doesn't help him aggroing more enemies. Probably not the most intelligent process of eliminating these targets. Whoa, yeah, it's going to be game over for us, guys. I don't think we're going to be able to fight this dude. But that's Invasion for you. It's not recommended, really, to play alone or for your first time if you plan on doing successful. Again, I would probably go with Ambush. But, hey, if you want to take the hardcore route, you know, there's actually a chance you could kill these guys. My friends and I have dealt some finishing blows to some pretty high-level characters. Granted, some of us died during the process, but, you know, we did manage to kill them eventually. Let's take out the skeletal beast. Now you see right there, that's cool that popped up. The next race event starts in 30 minutes. To enter, make a new character in the 1-hour Rogue Solo. So they actually have these race events that allow you to race to see who can get to the highest level first, or in a certain amount of time, I believe. It'll actually be like a lengthy amount of time. Whoever gets there and has the highest level at the end of the leaderboard time actually wins. Of course, those are played on hardcore, so when your character dies, it's game over. Awesome though, right? You know? The amount of time they put into this community blows my mind, and the fact that it's still going well after the game's actual launch is a rather fantastic thing there. I mean, you don't see this kind of support from other developers for their games anymore. It's a very rare occasion, and when you do, you take notice of it and you respect it greatly. I actually don't know what we're doing at this point, if I'm honest, guys. We're just kind of running because that dude's really going to mess us up. We'll see if we can start doing a little bit of damage here, but if we get caught up in any stun abilities or anything like that, it's going to be game over for us. Scroll of Wisdom. Scrolls of Wisdom are used to identify unidentified items that you pick up in the world, similar to, you know, Diablo, Diablo 2, Diablo 3. If you played any of those games, you'll recognize those systems. Now the question a lot of you guys might be asking is, if you've never played this sort of game, is it going to be easy to get into? And the answer I would say with that is yes and no. Yes, if you play on standard, I think you'll have no issue whatsoever. Sort of learning the ropes. The game, while it doesn't really directly, you know, pull you along, I think that's what most people are beginning to enjoy. I think even people who usually have trouble with video games have spent too much time having their hands held to the point where most of them are even frustrated, and they like a good challenge. I know that's how I am. And this game will definitely offer that. It's by no means like this really hardcore, like stupid experience where nothing is told to you. Everything is still there. It exists, and oh, let's go around this way. And you're not going to be required to just like wander for hours on end, just trying to figure out where to go next. There's a map, you know. It's all there, and I think over time you can definitely learn. But I also think that the best way to get into this game for the first time would be to grab some other friends and say, hey, you guys, let's check out this free-to-play game. It's not going to cost us any money. hop on over, dive on into the experience together, fail together, recharge, get new characters together, mess around with the different classes, find what you enjoy the most, and then, you know, continue forward. It's a game that I can't recommend enough to people. Especially, like I said, with Diablo 3 Reaper Souls just coming out, a lot of people maybe couldn't afford that, really enjoyed Diablo. I think you'll enjoy Path of Exile even more than you ever thought you could enjoy Diablo, because, again, the small amounts of effort that are constantly noticed while playing Path of Exile that have been put in here by the development team, you see it everywhere, too. It's just, you know, in the small bits of personality they give the character. I mean, this is a free-to-play. It's a free-to-play by this really small indie team that didn't have to do any of this. You know, they could have just pushed out some pile of steaming crap, and obviously they chose that that's not the path they wanted to take. They wanted to make a genuine game, a genuine experience that people could enjoy. I mean, you can't, you know, ask for more than that, let's be honest. It's absolutely wonderful. Let's go ahead and, I have a feeling we're gonna get some really epic, boss here from Invasion. We really need to get our hands on a second weapon, though, and actually start dual wielding so we can make use of that dual strike ability and benefit from the extra damage that we're going to be able to dish out. Hopefully, anyways. Move some of this stuff around. Put that in our chest plate so we can pick up a second weapon here. We'll grab this glass shank. Dual wield it up, yo.
Dominus wanted me to die. Disappoint him.
Kill everything. So the death animations in this game can be really fantastic as well. Sometimes they'll actually be like spirits that are released from inside of the corpses. It's just, so good, guys. It really genuinely is. I cannot recommend this game enough. To anyone who's just looking for something to play, you know, you're coming up with the drought here, you know, it's going to be summertime soon. I think after Watch Dogs in May and stuff like that, we're going to see a couple AAA titles release and some indie games, and then it's going to be a lot of dead, you know, it's going to be real quiet for some time. And I really cannot recommend you guys check out Path of Exile enough. You know, if this looks like the kind of game you're interested in, if you enjoy Diablo 3, it's probably the biggest one. There's no reason you shouldn't check out Path of Exile. Don't be afraid of the free-to-play title either. I'm telling you, a huge amount of people just get really sketched out by the fact it says free-to-play. There's no reason to pay in this game ever. You don't have to pay to accelerate the rate you level at. This isn't some like long, boring grind. They haven't nerf the amount of experience you gain because you're not paying. You don't have to pay at all. It just doesn't get more simple than that. I mean, the game is actually free for the most part, apart from buying transactions. You could literally call this a completely free experience. Oh man, swarms here. It's getting swarmed here. I think that's actually the guy. Yes, it is. We're gonna die. Oh, and that's the end of us. So the Smasher of Evil has been slain. We've now been kicked out of invasion mode. Again, not easy. You really need to play it very, very cautiously if you actually want to succeed in that. But we did get another skill point here to dump into our tree. Let's go ahead and beef up our life and armor just a tad. Path of Exile, guys. It's available on Steam. You can actually get it directly through Steam. Again, completely free. I'm going to be continuing this series moving forward through the next couple weeks. Next Wednesday, we'll do another free-to-play title. I have a whole bag of free-to-play titles that I've been enjoying over the past 3 years that, again, are actually free. That don't require any amount of money to succeed or to do well or to compete in or to play at a competitive level. So many good free-to-play titles. There's no reason to miss out on these titles and experience them for yourself. I promise that if you actually got into Path of Exile, you would end up spending money on the cosmetic items just to support the developers because you will fall in love with this game that much. Check it out, guys. I'll have the link in the description below. Let me know all of your thoughts on Path of Exile, and also would like to know maybe what are some of your first free-to-play game experiences that you ever had. Were they good? Were they bad? And if you can remember what game it actually was, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
It would be wrong to do that here.